Thought Radio, music from all your favorite New Thought artists. From Jamie Lula, Karen Drucker, Gary Lynn Floyd, Ricky Byers, Daniel Nahmod, Eddie Watkins Jr., and many, many more. 24/7 New Thought Radio. Positively inspiring.
Hello and welcome to Rockin The Love. I'm Robyn.
And I'm Gil.
And we're here together.
Yay! Coming to you live from New Mexico.
Yeah, we are.
Ah.
So it's so great to be here. So you know what to do. If you're here, please make sure you like our page and say hello. Let us know what you're doing out there, what's going on, and we're so excited for our show today. We have the amazing and talented Ray Davis with us, and we'll tell you.
I like to call him a musical genius, personally. That's my thing.
Really, I like to call him a high vibe music and artologist.
Artologist? That's anyway, doesn't matter.
I win. Winning. Okay. Anyway, we love to call him period because he's an amazing guy. So you're going to be so excited to hang out with us and hear about him. We're going to be talking about love
and attraction
and all that goes along with that.
So
I kind of got scared.
Did you?
Yeah, a little bit. I got a little scared.
Okay. All right.
That's good though. I think that's that nervous energy too when you're in love, right? Sometimes it feels a little scary. Right?
Yeah. Well, as you know, Rockin' Love is all about relationship, and there's so many spaces in our life where relationship happens, and we've so often talked about how important this relationship with ourselves is. And so today will be no different, but at the same time, I think we'll look a little bit at some other relationships and relationships with others more accurately. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, good. What else? What do we got?
Unusual, but it made sense.
I do from time to time.
What else do we have? We weren't here last week. Were we here last week, people?
We were here last week. We were here the week before.
Oh, we weren't here the week before.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right.
Okay, we got it together last week. No, we had 1 week in there where we had some technical issues and things going on, and we decided not to try to make it happen. But we've only done that twice, I think, over the whole time since we started in January. So we try really hard to make sure this show is on. So speaking of that, next week you can all join us, and we'll be coming to you live from Hawaii.
I didn't even practice that. You can probably tell. Yeah, we're going to be in Hawaii. So get your Hawaii vibe on and come with us, and we'll make sure and, point you towards the water, at least for one shot. But we're very excited. We're taking a much needed mini vacation.
But vacation nonetheless.
And we've said that we're not going to do any work. We'll check in on you on that. We'll check in on that. I don't know. I haven't taken a vacation and not done work since I was about 14.
Yeah. Okay. So let me explain this to you if you don't understand, if you've never, had this experience. Robyn's idea of a vacation is how many pieces of paper and books and magazines and things that she hasn't read yet or wants to do can she stuff into a suitcase and then get it still on the plane under the 50-pound limit?
Is
So
there a
that she has
problem?
things to do.
Well, no, not so that I have things to do, but so I can get things done. Because then I come home and it's like a new beginning and I don't have the pile of to do. So it's like you come home, your house appears, well, my house usually appears clean because I have to clean it before I go so that you walk into like a new world.
Yes.
And then there's not that pile of to do. So it's a productive thing. It's really, I don't know.
It's good. It's good. And sometimes it is nice to have that space where you're just sitting and you don't have all the stuff to do. You just have a few things in front of you to look at. And that's kind of nice. However, we are going to primarily make this about looking at each other this time and maybe laying on by the water and
having a fruity drink.
Having a fruity drink and
with an umbrella
and some fish tacos or something. I don't know.
All right. I want to welcome John, who says, yay, we're together. We are together. Yay.
Good to see you, John. Thank you.
John is ready for the luau.
All right.
Yeah, so are we. So are we. And I also want to send healing vibes out to Linda. I think she's listening today as she recovers from some eye surgery. And anyone else out there? Well, that must be Facebook user must be Linda, or else someone that just loves eye surgery. Anyway, so just welcome to everyone who's out there. So we're gonna go to our good news segment because I want to get to our guest. So, are you ready?
Ready.
Just so you all know, we don't have a producer today, so we're working double duty. And anyone who knows Gil knows that multitasking is not his forte.
It's my gift. I'm really good at it. If you don't expect me to do anything besides the one thing I'm doing, then it works out really good.
Multi usually means you're doing more than one thing.
Oh, is that what multi means?
Multi.
Oh, here we go. Here's what I was looking for. There it is.
And now the good news. So Gil, you want to go first?
Do I want to go first?
I'll go.
Okay, you go while I find this. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So here's the good news. We like to share good news that's going on in the world because sometimes everybody gets stuck in the not so good news and what appears to be bad news. So here's a couple of good news things I have. First good news is that they voted in Australia and to allow same-sex marriage. Woohoo! So it's a good start, and hopefully other countries will join in, and we can make this love thing work no matter what it looks like. Second thing I have is that women can now drive in Saudi Arabia. Legally.
I'm guessing women have been able to drive there for a long time, just nobody would let them.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think that's amazing. I mean, it's
a big step for them, I think.
It's a big step.
Yeah, huge for independence.
And then my favorite story that,
got a lot of good news today.
A lot of good news. But my favorite story, it's kind of like whatever I told last week, because it's not that it's such a good news story. Well, let me tell it. Then I'll tell you all my disclaimers about it. So it is that in Wales, there's this cat, and the cat generally goes to school and frequents the school daily. And so the cat showed up on class picture day. And when the cat felt it was his turn, he jumped up on the place to take the picture, and he got his picture taken. And they sent the packet home to the cat mom of class pictures of the cat. And the cat comes every day. And the principal says he's an exemplary student, and he's exemplary at showing students how to attend school daily, how to have a
I
good
was gonna
attendance record.
say, probably got the best attendance record at the school.
Exactly. But I think it's so great because so often, again, we're like, cat, no, animals, bad. Ugh. But how beautiful to just be with what is and to embrace like just this love of life and joy and what is, embracing what is. So kudos to whales and the cat and all of that good stuff. So,
Learning to love our environment, our animals, and all of that, as opposed to just worrying about what humans are thinking.
yeah.
Yeah.
And honor, yeah, on some level, I know this is going a little woo-woo out there, but on some level, if we're all one, obviously this cat gets something from coming to school, right? Cats don't hang out with you if they don't have something, if there's not something in it for them. So, I mean, I think whatever it is, whatever comfort it brings to students or whatever joy it brings to the cat or whatever, like, I just think it's great that nobody's trying to change it. So that's my stories.
All right. That's some good news.
What do you got?
That's some good news. Okay. So we all know, we've all heard, we've all dealt with this whole thing that our environment is getting worse. People are getting sicker. More and more cancers are being found everywhere. And according to Time magazine, cancer deaths have dropped by 25% in the US since 1991. Wait a minute, does that match? No, that is different than what we think.
It is very different.
Isn't it? And that breast cancer deaths specifically have dropped by almost 40%. So there's a huge movement forward in this. And that doesn't even mention the fact that they've actually found a vaccine that they're working on that has been working in mice.
Wow.
It's a start. It's a start. So there you go. So, I mean, we actually can use this science, this information, this stuff that we have and grow from it and make our world better.
Yeah, as long as we get the information, because as clearly we don't always get the information, right?
Yep. Well, we don't always know about it. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. All right. So I think this is the most excited I've been to go to a commercial to get back to the guest. So let's do it. We're going to be right back here, get something to drink, and come sit down and listen to the amazing Ray Davis when we return right here on New Thought Media Network. Hi, people.
Okay, now we're back.
Now we're back for real. It's okay. It's a learning curve, sweetie. It's good. All right. So, as I told you, I'm very excited to welcome our guest, Ray Davis. Many of you may know Ray Davis from his musical talents and his amazing singing and just inspirational songs. You're gonna find out about Ray throughout. I'm not gonna try to do a big introduction. What is important is that he is right now in creating this high vibe music and art consciousness, right? He's bringing that level to the world, and he's going to tell us more about that. And hi.
Hi.
Hi, Ray.
Hi. Hi, Robyn. Hi, Gil.
Hi, welcome. So great to have you. My goodness, and we have Suzanne Stevenson dancing in her chair with us right now. So this must be going well so far.
Let's go, Suzanne. Let's go. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about your high vibe music and arts content.
Happy to. Well, high vibe music and arts is all about elevating consciousness. It's all about lifting people up. It's music and art content that is intentional with that purpose. It's so yes, it's positive, but it can also deal with subjects that present some darkness, as long as the overall motion is one of upness, raising consciousness. Because I'm absolutely convinced that the true solution to all of society's problems, the only solution is what I call an evolution revolution. In order to evolve, we need tools and things to help us along the way. And music and arts, I think, plays a big part of that. So what we're trying to do is create a new genre called high vibe, high vibe, which encapsulates all, it encircles many different styles. Style is not important here. It can sound like rock and roll, like R&B, like hip hop, like country, soul, whatever, any of the number of world styles. But it's the content and the intention behind it that's most important.
I love that word intentional. I mean, I think intentional, I think that's the key to everything, right?
Yes, absolutely. As a matter of fact, I'm convinced, certain, and believe wholeheartedly that our intention predicts the future. My intention in starting something really is a sign of what's to come. My intention tells you what's showing up next. So living intentionally is, I think, one of the most challenging things to do. It's a lot easier to just kind of go along and bump where you get bumped and stop where you get stopped and go where you're allowed to go. But instead, create an intentional life. Say, this is who I am. This is what I'm about. This is where I'm going. And, sort of set your own path. So, yeah, intention is everything.
I wanted to speak to that for a minute. I want to just be super clear for everybody listening, too, that like a lot of times we find ourselves allowing life to saying, oh, we'll just let it happen.
Mm-hmm.
We'll just, what comes, and I think that in New Thought there's a balance that we have to find, because some people say you just allow life, but there's a balance of allowing and being intentional and creating what you allow to come in. Right?
Creating what you allow. Yes, yeah. I think you're right.
Yes. Well, my point of view in this is yes and. It truly is a yes and. Because allowing life to be as it shows up is most certainly a useful talent. However, it's not all of our talents. We have the ability to allow, and we have the ability to initiate and to cultivate. These are powers that we have, given it's just what we got. So we are responsible, since we have them, we are also responsible for their use. So if I have the power to initiate, in other words, to start something, like Michael Jackson used to say, "You want to be starting something, you got to be starting something," because we do. We got to be starting something. We can't help but create because we have power, right? So we initiate things and then observe how life works out the details. And that's the part where I think it's important to be able to exercise that power of allowing. not trying to wrestle conditions and circumstances, wrestle them, get them into that headlock and it's not about that. It's here's what I'm choosing to create. That's the initiation. I can choose it with my word, thought, feeling, get my whole body into it, my whole self into it. And then trust the process that shows up afterwards. Trust the life, the love that is everything to bring the correct circumstances and conditions necessary for the manifestation of that thing that I started, the showing up that thing I started. Now, and here is the rub. What I found. Okay, so I'm going to reference something right now. It's a visual. So do it again. If you can follow, it's a wave pattern. And I reference it in my own thinking all the time because we talk about, and this gets a little woo, that everything is in vibration, everything is in motion. And that little wave type thing is motion. It's what do you call it then? That's sound. That's what happens with the sound. That's a sound wave. That's an example of a sound wave. So there's ups and there's downs. And the thing that we have to keep in mind is that just because I've said a holy, high, holy intention doesn't mean that everything that's going to show up is going to look like I expected it.
Look like the top of the wave.
Yeah, there's the top and there's also the bottom, right? So
that's right.
I'm going to get some bottom as well. I'm going to get some of the down as well. That's the motion of life. So it has more to do with my expecting things to be wavy and being grounded enough in who and what I am to be able to withstand the storm and flow with things. Okay, going all over the place. But I think that's part of the attraction.
Yeah, I think that's a part of that whole idea of allowing. That's where that comes in, is where you're like, okay, we'll allow this to do what it does and not freak out about it because it doesn't look exactly like I wanted it to or I thought it should. It's really interesting. I've been in several circles recently where this sort of idea has been coming up at different aspects of it. Just coming off of teen camp in the summer, there was this discussion about what kind of community do we want to create at teen camp, and it has to be intentional. We have to have an intention about why we're here and what it's about. It's not about, because there was sort of this thing about how we had all these rules that you couldn't break, but that's just all the problems. What's our intention? What are we creating? What do we want?
Yeah. Right.
Let's not identify and be really clear about what the problems could be or should be or whatever. Right. So,
yeah. And that also assumes that by identifying it and therefore eliminating the possibility of problems, everything's going to be perfectly wonderful and aces. When there's always this. The oldest ideas suggest that for every this created, there's also a that created. Every time there's a yes, we're also defining a no. And this is the natural way of things. So when I, like, for instance, when I think about love and attraction specifically, something that's drawing itself to something else or drawing something else to itself, some force that seems to bring things together, right? So I'm thinking about my wife, which is a good thing to do from time to time.
From time to time, yes.
I'm all for it.
I want to think about the spouse sometimes. So I'm thinking about my wife, and I'm thinking about I was talking about this a little bit earlier with you guys about how we met. We actually met at a service of the spiritual center, Agape International Spiritual Center, at the time in Culver City, California. And this was my first Sunday there. was back in 2007. So I sat down somewhere in the center, and I'm brand new. But the minister starts talking, Reverend Michael Bernard Beckwith. Brilliant, brilliant speaker. And he's saying something, and right at the beginning of his talking, it really touched me. And it got me to, I just had to shout, because I came from a background of people who talk back to the preacher. And I had to shout. And Lori was sitting, this is my wife's name, she was sitting a few aisles ahead, a few rows ahead of me. And she heard me before I saw her. So she was startled when she heard me shout. And then later, I saw her talking to some people. And right away, something pinged. It just something. And it shook me, because I didn't go there intending to connect with anybody. As a matter of fact, I really intended to attract as little attention as possible. But I knew, first of all, that this was an interesting person, and secondly, I was going to see her every time I came to that church, because I intended to come back. But there was something about her that just instantly drew my attention, and I couldn't stop thinking about her. And so when we finally ended up bumping into each other at church and having conversation, it was so easy to talk. So what is it about attraction, that instant thing? Because it really was instant with her.
So was there, you know, in that process, was there a place where you became intentional about, I'm focused on seeing where this goes, or I'm focused on making the actual connection, or, you know?
It's a funny question to me, because yeah, there came a point where it became quite intentional. But that was later. Again, I really had no intention of starting anything anywhere. But when we first bumped into each other, the conversation was so pleasant and so easy that I really had to realize I was beginning a relationship. It was just that easy. It was like a door that just flew open at the exact time you walked towards it. I guess that kind of happens at grocery stores, doesn't it?
Right. Just opens up and there you are.
Yeah.
You don't have to stop and think about it.
You're
headed in.
But there came a point where I knew I was going to marry her. I said, this is definitely the woman I'm going to marry. And I didn't tell her about it for 3 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, you kept that quiet.
I was searching for the proper ring.
Wow, that's amazing. It was a big day for you, your first day at church.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, man. You know that my future wife has heard my voice.
Yeah, your future wife had heard your voice. That's amazing. And then you prayed with Gil.
Yeah. That was the first Sunday. It was perfect Sunday. Got to hear the choir sing.
Yeah.
Any of you are, if
Wow.
you're
And it's so,
yeah.
I mean, this is a little off topic, but it so speaks to also, like, I guess it's not how we all got together, and yet we'd been together, and who knows where else we'd been together. But you know, we've been together in different forms, and it's like, but it's like, you know, it's your tribe, you know where your people are, and you're attracted to that.
Yeah,
I think that's,
like, even if at some level, like you said, you really didn't go there intending to dive in or anything, and yet you went there. You know, I mean, there was a reason you showed up, and a reason why you couldn't help yourself but yell out, call attention to yourself.
Yeah, and trust me, it was almost embarrassing when it came up, but the conviction of the shout was so strong, it overwhelmed any sense of embarrassment, because the man has spoken the truth to me, and I felt it. I felt it, which brings me to this idea I'm playing around with, this thing about attraction. So what is it that, you know, there was something that brought me to agape in the first place. something that caused me to turn my head at just the right time to see Lori in the way that I saw her. And it was in profile first. When I first saw her, she was talking to people and giving a kind of loving attention that Lori does. It's part of her personality. And I saw it and I just thought, who is this woman? How is she so loving to people? She's kind of cute. Oh, wait, no, we're not doing that. We're not doing this right now. But I'm going to see her every time. It was a thought. I'm going to see her every time I'm here because she was distinct.
Yeah. And let me just say for people out there that don't know Lori, hopefully we all have someone like this in our life, but Lori is one of those people that really, you look at her and she's angelic and you can just feel the love, and you really question if she's ever said a bad word or anything about anyone in her life. You know, I'm sure she's had her moments, but I mean, that's who she is. She just shows up as love. So yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah. Well, see, and again, waveform. So my attraction to someone has everything to do, I think, with not the top of the wave, but the bottom of the wave.
Okay.
I really believe that attraction has more to do with further development. We're attracted to things. And be careful with this. I believe that there's an aspect of us that knows a bit more, that sees a bit more consciously, that's more aware of its connection with the source of life itself. And I believe that more knowing aspect of us helps to guide our experiences so that we are sometimes pulled and sometimes pushed into a higher state of being. So when my attraction to Lori, for instance, certainly, you know, it was matched with her attraction to me, and we connected in a lot of different ways. And then the work begins. You know what I mean? It's like, you get together. Yeah, that's great. Wow, you guys are a couple now. And then, because there's always the bottom side of the wave. And I say bottom not because it's in any way truly inferior or worse, but there are aspects of every person's personality that are less openly attractive. Things that are peculiar to the individual.
I really don't know what you mean, and certainly I when I look at myself, I just can't find that in me. But you know.
And I'm an Aquarian, which means I'm perfect.
Yes.
Yeah, my sister was an Aquarius too. Okay. I want to share with you, every time you do this, it makes me think of one of our favorite singers, Michael Franti, who he has this song that goes, "Life is amazing, and then it sucks, and then it's amazing again." And that's kind of, I mean, even though it doesn't really have to be a suck, but that's kind of the feel of, you know what I mean? So that's all. I'm just sharing that with you.
It's an ebb and flow.
It's an ebb and flow. And then John out there is saying, you met your wife at Agape. I met my best friends, Gil and Robyn, at Oakland Center. And all of these are God in action. Yeah. And it's so funny that John says that, because I was going to actually say, when you were talking about it, it was reminding me of John. And I was thinking, yeah, and John and I affectionately call each other brother and sister, because it's just that, you know, and it is when we meet our tribe, we just know, you know. And sometimes people who don't understand will be like, wait, what do you mean that you have a brother? I thought you were an only child, or, you know, it's like, yeah, you know. So, but it's true. We meet our family, our best friends, and our, you know, loved ones. And I'll tell you the short version. Gil and I met actually on the phone, and before we ever met in person, we knew we were getting married. So And not that that was easy, because I was totally in resistance. He had just gotten divorced, and we hadn't even seen each other. And it wasn't until we met that the work began, though.
Yeah, it began in earnest when we met.
Yeah.
But we already knew where it was going, and it didn't slow us down at all. It just but that's, in a sense, it's that same attraction thing. It just began happening, and it was like, oh, this is
it.
Yeah, this is important. And it's gonna be where we are.
This is the one who can take all of my crap.
Yeah.
But really, I mean, it's the one that will be there and love you no matter what. And we go back to that aspect of life that is that unconditional love.
Yeah.
So,
and some of this is absolute choice. Just I'm choosing this. I'm choosing to stand in this place with this person at this time under these conditions. Some of it is we can't expect it's all going to look like rom-com, romantic comedy movie. There are certainly those moments, but it is our going through some of the downs together that makes the highs so much sweeter.
Well, yes, and I think a lot of times people will say to me, "How did you know? How do you know when you're really in love or when it's the one?" And my answer a lot of the time was, because the things that would have driven me crazy or made me walk away make me want to stay. And all of a sudden I'm finding them endearing. I mean, for me, it was as if my soul went into a different level of acceptance and I don't know, openness.
Well, I think it goes back to what you were saying, Ray, about that sort of that attraction happening at the bottom of the wave concept. And what I heard in that was this idea that you meet someone who's inviting you to come up the wave with them. You're attracted to something or some person that's telling you in some way, look, there's more to this than what you're seeing right now.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it is when we have what Robyn just talked about too. It's like we see there's more. We used to only see the improperly loaded dishwasher, whereas now we see that life is much larger than that.
But can we talk about the dishwasher though, really? There's so many people out there need to understand there are certain ways you do things and ways you don't. Oh,
that's right. Now don't steal my stuff here.
Okay, you guys are brothers, right? God. Yeah, that's funny. Well, I want to share a quote with you, because when you were talking about attraction, this is a Deepak Chopra. It says, "The secret of attraction is to love yourself. Attractive people judge neither themselves nor others. They are open to gestures of love. They think about love and express their love in every action." So
let's do this one.
They know that love is not a mere sentiment, but the ultimate truth at the heart of the universe.
Yeah.
Ultimate truth.
Oh, that's so good. That's so
right.
Good. That's so good. Wow. It's funny. It starts out that way too, because I was thinking as you were talking, Robyn, how how difficult, if not impossible, it would be for me to join anyone in the journey up if I'm not solid in loving myself. Because what happens if I'm not grounded in self-love and appreciation, I can be led I can be led in directions that are actually harmful. And this is the something I think is important to know as well, that yes, attraction can sometimes happen out of a need to raise some of the things that are at the lower part. We need to raise our consciousness. Small example: Lori is a painter, brilliant painter, artist, and there was once a time when I really didn't pay that much attention to color. Strange as it is, I really didn't. Now I see it everywhere, and I mean, I'm so alive now because of the awareness of color. And this was brought to my life through my wife. Now it's a small little thing, but that's an example of something that love in a proper, in a balanced environment can really do. On the other hand, we can also join each other in habits and practices and things that are harmful. We can actually join each other as well. So to be clear, attraction, but even that can be used to raise consciousness. How many of us have been in a bad pattern, a dark pattern for a certain amount of time, and then decided, no, this is there's more to life than this. I'm not going to stay in this pattern. I will not. And then a way opens up through a teaching, comment from someone, a conversation with some support from someone, prayer and meditation, whatever it is. So even in a less than fortunate condition or circumstance or practice or habit, that can be a spark to rising in consciousness as well. So just wanted to put that out there.
Yeah, that's good. No,
That is
you're
good.
right.
And John says, Ray makes me think of how spiritual centers are places for me to see more color,
Oh,
to raise awareness, to wake up.
wow.
That's beautiful.
That's
cool.
cool.
Beautiful, John. Yeah, and then so that's just taking it like that. That's a great question for everybody out there: is where could you see more color in your life?
Ooh.
Yeah, because I think of that as noticing the value of different things. When you see the color, when you see the uniqueness and the beauty in it all.
Yeah. Let me throw this in there because, and this isn't to say that the phrase is wrong in any way, but I think that's a brilliant thing John wrote also, because isn't it wonderful to think about seeing more color as opposed to seeing less? I hear from people from time to time, someone says, well, I don't see color when they're referring to race. And that's a wonderful sentiment because I know where that's coming from. Now, flip that around and consider what it would be like to say, I see every color and I love them all. When a bouquet of flowers, even though it might happen to have my favorite color, I'm not going to sit there and say, I just love that one daisy because it's the particular color red that I like the most. No, it's beautiful. The whole thing is beautiful. I notice all the colors and they all bring me joy together. So thinking about where in my life am I seeing more color? Not just racially, but
all different aspects.
And it's interesting because when you said that in the beginning, when you said, I didn't see color, my head immediately went, what? How could that be? You're an artist, you're a creative person. So I think and I'm a creative person as well. And I'm like, that can't be true. But then as you were talking, I was like, wow. So that, in so many ways, like, I get that maybe there's benefit obviously to not being able to see color on some in some ways, in terms of like, I sorry, I'm making up a whole story about musicians because you said it. So, but I was thinking, maybe that's why people write great breakup songs and great, all the songs we hear on the radio that are, not necessarily the positive, uplifting ones and But I mean, so I get that there's value in black and white and that black and white is a color, but, and I like the vibrancy and like, so then in my mind, when I changed the story about you and to you seeing colors, I was like, oh yeah, like, you know, I'm thinking about your different songs and like how positive they are and how life filled they are, you know? So anyway, I don't have any way to wrap that up other than to say I was making the progression and seeing we're both of a value.
Well, no, it makes sense too. I'll tell you this about the bit about me and color, Robyn. The colors that I got were all oral. It's not like I mean, I obviously can see the difference between red and blue and green. You know, red and green is kind of important when it's driving. Right. So it's not bad. But I just didn't take the time to notice and really appreciate color.
Yeah.
Well, I'll just look. I don't know if y'all can see this pocket. I'll just drag it out of here. This pocket square, man, you would have never found me wearing this pocket square back in the day. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful pocket square. So I'm gonna wear some pocket squares and some socks and things now. You know, I got different colors and patterns and things. You see.
I love that, but I love your point about the oral thing because that's a really interesting point. It doesn't matter where we are or what we think we understand. We can still be completely cut off from areas of beauty and color, for lack of another word, in this moment, because we don't see it. Even you know, we don't see it, we don't experience it. It doesn't. It's, you know, you could hear it all in music and in all that, but you weren't paying attention over here,
right?
You know, in this other area, in the same way, and it opened up a whole new space for you to see beauty.
Yeah,
I love that. I love that.
It is absolutely true, and it just so turns out that in my studies, I'm a bit of a Kabbalist, Kabbalah, and the relationship of color, the use of color in the meditative work in Kabbalah it's pretty powerful for me, and I was much more open to it and available to the insights that sort of meditative practice can bring because of my experience in awakening to color in this version of beauty because of the attractiveness, my attraction to my wife.
Isn't that wild? That's wild.
Yeah. So Suzanne says, absolutely. Wear the color for the frequency to which you are drawn. Yeah.
Well, that's a kind of sensitivity. There's a certain kind of sensitivity there that's just is beautiful.
Yeah.
Thanks for Miles. Hey!
Yeah, John says, Ray makes me think of Miles Davis. Great album, kind of blue. Music indeed has color.
As one of the best, I say that's the best jazz LP ever created. That's one of my absolute favorites, man. Kind of blue. Yeah. Okay,
y'all, we haven't even touched on Ray Davis as a musician. There's so much more, and I can't believe that our time is coming to a close.
We got a little more time, but we don't have a lot more time. Oh. So, go ahead.
No.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, I think I do want to appreciate that about you. You invite us into music in a way that's different for me. Oh. You know, that opens up something and has opened me up to something. You know, Robyn mentioned Michael Franti, and that's someone I've decided I really, really enjoy their stuff. And in part, I think I'm more open to all of that because of the stuff that I've heard from you, and you know that I can really see the depth of what people are getting to, you know, and appreciate it.
That's cool.
So I just want to say that.
Well, I think what you're saying is really that the people like Michael Franti, like Ray Davis, obviously, this really is high vibe music and arts. These are people who living with intention. These are people with, I mean, there's,
Yeah.
it's not, it's more than music.
It's more than music. It's more than job. It's more than money. It's more than fame. It's more than whatever those other pieces are that you want to throw in there. It's for the love of the music and the love of what can be expressed. Is that accurate?
Yes. And it is.
And the love of others.
It's also for a reason. It's also for the same reason that propels all of life. That urge that makes the seed break open and extend roots and send a shoot upward. The thing that moves the salmon once a year to follow the path of, to their birthplace. The thing that drives all of procreation. Oh yeah, all the procreation. It's that same thing that's at once intimately known and also completely undefinable. And I think
yes.
that one thing that love, life is love. Life is growth and expansion and forward and more. So I show up, you show up, every person shows up with something unique to give and to bring. And that thing, if it's even brushed on a little bit, will plague you all your life until you, at least this is what it's been like for me, until I've actually taken action on it to bring it to life. And the reason is, I believe, to set something up for others to be attracted to. Just like this show attracts me, attracts those who are viewing. Michael Frante's music attracts you, because there's something there for you. There's something there to help raise and bring up, because life is all about that evolution and rising and more and better and brighter. So I hope that makes sense, but that's how I'm feeling it.
And that's what we do with spiritual community and all of that. That's, that's why I went to ministerial school, because that's where I needed to go. And why, I'm sure you've experienced fighting with music at different times. Like not sure that you really wanted to do this or whatever. And at least for me, I've gone through those times and find myself in a place where I am really able to love what I'm doing and love it because I get to express something that uniquely comes through me.
Yeah.
Right?
That's right. And I got to give a shout out to my musical sister, Arne Batson. Arne Batson, beautiful person, wonderful singer. I call her my sister. She called me Big Bro. I call her Little Sis. To the point where one particular center in Orange County, where we both have sung, the minister there knew her as my literal sister. He said, "Oh, you guys took that literally." Okay, anyway, but she talked me off a ledge a few years ago. I was really not literal ledge, but I was ready to give it up on music, and she really helped me. So,
yeah.
I can't imagine. That's the end of the sentence.
Okay.
No, I'm serious. I can't imagine a world without Ray Davis music. I can't. And I know that not everybody knows it and all of that, but like, I'm just sitting here thinking about the lyrics in Average Man and things like that, and how much, it just even just a little bit of that can change our whole day. Our whole life.
That's good. Yeah. And it's I can't imagine it either, Robyn. Frankly, I can't either. Not anymore. This is so much a part of me. I've not known a day in my life when I haven't been attracted to music, and specifically attracted to creating music coming through me and proclaiming that not a day in my life. I can think back to time I was at least 3 years old and making up little songs on my own, like a lot of kids will do, but it just kept going for me. It just kept going.
Yeah, and I'm just going to encourage everyone who's listening to check out Ray Davis Music on Facebook. And will they know when they get to that, will they know how to be able to hear some of your songs and things like that?
I'm going to start adding links over the next few weeks to another
Okay,
site
great.
creating where you can get access to all the music and more to
Yeah.
come. I'm building something.
All right. All right. We'll be looking for that. That's exciting.
And I mean, and as we've said in various ways, at the bottom, underneath it all, the reason that we can't imagine a world without that is because of the love and the passion that you put into it. I mean, everything we talk about is fueled by love.
Yes.
You know, and you are connected to your passions, and it shows through. And so I'm just super grateful for anybody who watches Girls Behaving Metaphysically too. I have to let you know that Ray is the person that wrote our theme song, and many people just want to hear our song. So he's a great writer, jingle writer. He's just an all around good guy.
Oh,
Lori's a very lucky woman.
I'm the wait, not the lucky woman. I'm the okay.
You're the lucky one. Yeah, not the, yeah. Unless there's more to this story we don't know. But
Another big thing. She loves my silliness, and I'm silly.
Silly is good. So Suzanne's excited that we gave out the link. She's going to check out your music. She was just about to ask. And John would like you to come back for another show.
I'd love to. If y'all have it.
I'd love to. You know it.
You know it.
But I'd love to have you come back and talk about the Kabbalah and, some of the other stuff you're doing. And I don't know, we may always end up back at music, but it's all right.
Yeah.
It's all about the love, right?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I got a song called It's Gotta Be Love. Well, you hear that one? That's a funky one.
We like funky.
Yeah.
So I just also wanted to thank Sherry for being with us today. She says, I love all colors.
Oh, yeah,
We're
Sherry.
talking about our colors.
Yeah.
Sherry Lynn. So, yeah, just so many things have triggered so many thoughts in me today, and I can't even get to them, right? We just don't have time. So I just want to thank you for being here, taking your time, hanging out with us, with all the folks that are on with us. And what?
Can I play this one?
Yes, you can. And Robyn's got something she wants to share right now.
I'm leaving us with another quote. It says, love is the voice under all silences, the hope which has no opposite in fear, the strength so strong, mere force is feeblessness, the truth more first than sun, more last than star. And that's by E.E. Cummings.
God, I love that quote. Love that quote. Wow. Ooh.
So it's real, you all. It's real. It's real. It's real. The love is real. And we just invite you to share it, to take it out into the world this week and rock the love. Because what else can we do? Right?
What else can we do?
What else can we do? So thank you so much. We'll see you next week and keep rocking the love, Ray.
And just remember, let's look up Ray Davis Music on Facebook, give a shout out, and we will see everybody next week.
In Hawaii.
In Hawaii.
Aloha.
Speaking of.
Oh my God. I'm trying to find it. Here we go.